everybody. Today we're going to be looking at section 7 of topic 5. We will be solving unit rate problems. And you will want to use a calculator. I have my calculator with me today because I'm probably not going to be able to do all of these problems mentally. In fact, I know I won't be able to do them all in my head. So I have my calculator here ready to go, and hopefully you have one as well that you can use when solving these unit rate problems. All right, so suppose you are traveling by train to visit a friend who lives 275 miles away. How long will the trip take? Well, let's say you're moving at a constant speed. Now, a constant speed means that the speed never changes. Whatever its speed is, it remains that same speed at all times. Okay, so you can imagine like a commuter train, like a subway in a city. Um, they pretty much are going at the same speed unless they're taking off or coming to a stop. Otherwise, they're going at a constant speed. If you're traveling down the highway in a car or a truck, you'd be going at a constant speed. If you set the cruise control, for example, then you can maintain a constant speed for a stretch of time as well. So again, suppose you are traveling by train to visit a friend who lives 275 miles away. How long will the trip take? The train travels at a constant speed of 55 miles per hour. Okay, so I can write that as a ratio. I can say 55 miles in 1 hour. I can write it like that. I know we could write 55 mph as well. mph is a common abbreviation for miles per hour. But I want to write it as a ratio, 55 miles in 1 hour. Okay, so if you live 275 miles away, how long will it take? Well, what we can do is we can figure out what ratio would be equivalent to this if we changed it from 55 miles to 275 miles. How many hours would that be? I'll just call that H for hours. If I can figure out how many times 55 goes into 275, I'll be able to answer this question. Put another way, 55 times what will give me 275? Well, to answer that question, I need to do the reverse and actually take my total distance, 275 miles, and divide it by 55. And you can use a calculator to do this. I can actually see it's going to come out nicely this time. It's going to be exactly 5 times. Check it out. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry the 2 here. 5 times 5 is 25. Add 2, that's 27. If we subtract, we get a remainder of 0. Isn't that nice? So it's exactly 5 here. 55 miles times 5 would give me 275 miles. So if we're going at 55 miles per hour, take that times 5, and you can see it will take 5 hours to travel that distance of 275 miles. Okay? So yeah, 5 hours would be the answer there. How long would it take the train to travel 385 miles? Well, again, I could do the same thing. I could take my 385 miles and I could divide by 55 because the train can go 55 miles in 1 hour. Okay, and I'm just curious, is that going to go in exactly? Yes, it is. Exactly 7 times. 7 times 5 is 35. Carry the 3. 7 times 5 is 35. Add 3, that's 38. And when I subtract, I get a remainder of 0. So it would take 7 hours to travel 385 miles. Okay? So 5 hours if you're going 275 miles, 7 hours if you're going 385 miles. Okay, let's look at another example. Here we have this jet here. The jet flies at a constant speed. Again, constant speed means that the speed stays the same over a stretch of time. Okay, if the jet continues to fly at the same rate, How far could it fly in 84 minutes? All right, so anyway, if we look over here, it says the jet flies 175 miles in 7 minutes. I'm going to write that as a ratio here, 175 miles in 7 minutes. All right, so what I want to know is what will this equal, or how far will it fly if it goes 84 minutes? You'll notice I'm putting the time in the bottom in minutes, and I'm putting the distance in miles up in the top. Um, so if it's 175 miles in 7 minutes, what would be the distance here? I'll just put a D here for distance in 84 minutes. When you're solving these, this is called a proportion, by the way. I know Mr. Thorson talked about that last week. A proportion is just when you have two equivalent ratios set equal to each other like this. Okay, so 175 over 7 equals what over 84 is what I really want to know. And what I can do first is look to see if these numbers are compatible. Does 7 work well with 84? Does 7 go nicely into 84? Put another way, can I multiply 7 by something? A nice whole number and have it equal 84? And actually, yes, 7 times 12 is 84. So I can take 175 times 12 to find this answer over here. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to take 175 times 12, which is 2100, it looks like. I'd better check that on a calculator. 175 times 12. Yep, it is 2100. I got it right. So we have 2,100 miles for my answer. Now, I really should say 2,100 miles in 84 minutes. Because that distance, 2,100 miles, is specific to this number of minutes, 84 minutes. Okay? So at the rate of 175 miles in 7 minutes, it can travel 2,100 miles in 84 minutes. Okay? Now, before I move to the next example, I want to show you guys the same problem done another way, okay? And when we have our 175 miles in 7 minutes, what we can do is we can find the unit rate. Find out how far it goes in 1 minute. How fast is that jet traveling in its miles per minute? And to do that, we can just divide 175 by 7. Okay? So we can divide by 7 here. We can divide by 7 here. And 7 divided by 7 would be in 1 minute. Okay? So 175 divided by 7, you can use your calculator, but that's going to be 25 miles per minute. By the way, if you wanted to know what is that in miles per hour, because we always think miles per hour, since there are 60 minutes in an hour, you could take 25 times 60 and you'd get, well, 1,500 miles per hour. Wow, 1,500 miles per hour. Woo, that's pretty fast. All right, so anyway, once we know it's 25 miles in a minute, then if we want to find out what it would be in 84 minutes, well, then you'd just multiply by 84, wouldn't you? Multiply by 84. And then what you find out is you get 2,100, 2,100 miles in 84 minutes. Okay, so again, we found the same answer. It'll travel 2,100 miles in 84 minutes time. Okay, so two ways of doing the same problem. You can take your pick. And if you need to go back and watch this both ways again, you can watch this video as many times as you wish, um, until you understand exactly what's going on here. All right, let's look at another example. Family Fare is having a sale on Swiss cheese. At this rate, how much would it cost for 5 slices? Well, if you look over here at this picture, it says 24 slices. You can buy 24 slices for $7.20. As I mentioned yesterday, we always, with money, want to put the money amount in the top of our ratio. So it's $7.20 for 24 slices of Swiss cheese. All right, at this rate, how much would it cost for 5 slices? And I'll just put C for cost. Okay, or it could be C for cheese, right? Either way, it's C for my unknown value. Now I'm looking to see if these numbers are compatible. Do they work well together? Can I easily get from 24 to 5 by dividing? And it doesn't work out very well. I'd have to divide by 4.8 um, to be able to get from 24 to 5. So you could divide this by 4.8 to get your cost. But the easier way to do this is going to be to find the unit cost. Find out the price for 1 slice of cheese. So we can take $7.20 and divide by 24. Feel free to use your calculator, but that's going to come out exactly to 30 cents. Oops, why does it keep erasing? That's weird. 30 cents for 1 slice. That's the unit cost. Okay, and again, all I did was just divide the price, $7.20, by the number of slices, 24. And when you divide those, it comes out to exactly 30 cents per slice. Now that I know it's 30 cents per slice, now it's easy to figure out what it would cost for 5 slices, because now I just have to multiply by 5. So if we take 30 cents and multiply that by 5, we find out that's $1.50 for 5 slices of cheese. So how much would it cost for 5 slices? $1.50 for 5 slices of Swiss cheese. All right, one more example. Jared paid $13.80 for 5 tickets to the game. At that same rate, how much would 3 tickets cost? I'm going to write myself a proportion for this problem. It's $13.80. We always put the price in the top of our ratios. That's a really bad dollar sign right there. Okay, $13.80. That gets him 5 tickets. Those are cheap tickets. And that equals, now we want to know what the price would be for 3 tickets. So up top here, the price, or the cost, I guess it says cost in this problem. I'll put C here for cost. What would be the cost for 3 tickets? This is a proportion. We have $13.80 for 5 tickets equals some cost for 3 tickets. Now, this is another example where these numbers are not compatible. To get from 5 to 3, yes, I could get there, but I'd have to divide by like what, 1.6. Yeah, 1.6 repeating, which is not very convenient. So what I'm going to do instead is just find the unit price, the unit cost, by dividing 1380 by 5. You can use a calculator for this, but it divides nicely. You get $2.76, is it? I better check that. 1380 divided by 5. Yeah, $2.76 per ticket. Okay, I'm going to write that down. 276 for 1 ticket. Now that you know that, just go ahead and multiply by 3 to find the cost for 3 tickets. And I'll do that right now, and I get $8.28 for the cost for 3 tickets. That's it. I'm out of time.